Welcome. In front of me I have the OPPO Find X9 Ultra, and today I'll be going over unboxing along with a quick look at the device, its specifications, build quality, feature sets, and just give you my thoughts and opinions, and kind of like a first impression as I go through this. Okay, so let's just get straight into this. We have two pull tabs at the back. Nice. So we got a Type-C to Type-A cable for charging, get quick start guide, whatever, safety guide, what is the phone endangering my life, and we get Type-C to Type-A little plug. Cool. Now, one thing that he did notice that probably was missing from there is a case for the device, which I will consider to be a bit of a typically I wouldn't really bitch about this, but hey, at the price of this device I would have expected it to be there, made out of, I don't know, gold plating at this point, but oh, for God's sake, come on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now, design-wise, I kind of dig it. It looks pretty nice, at least at the back. At the front, is just a typical, same old, just a slab of glass. Okay, so putting it up in a second, we'll be presented with the display. So the display right here is a 6.8 inches in size with a 1440 resolution, or more precisely 1440 by 3168 pixels, LTPO AMOLED display, 1 billion colors, 144 Hz refresh rate with Dolby Vision certification, HDR10 Plus as well, and a peak brightness of 3600 nits. And that, I presume, is going to be a real 3500 nits, unlike some other companies which will now tell you that they have 6000 nits when one of the pixels is blasted to its fullest potential for a single second or something like that. This is probably a little bit more realistic, kind of 3500. Now, other than that, let me just quickly go to the setup, because we're going to move into adding a fucking Wi-Fi network, because apparently it's a setup process that doesn't allow me to set up the device the way I want to. Because God forbid I had control over my own device, right? Now, while typing in the password, I want to mention haptic feedback here feels phenomenal, so that's nice. Come on, it shouldn't be taking a half an hour to connect to network. Apparently I typed it in incorrectly. Oh, I did. There we go. Now I can actually finish up the setup. It's exactly how I wanted to set it up. I did want to waste my time and connect to network, of course. So, let's hopefully finish this up. Actually, there's a couple more things while this is setting up that I want to go over. So we have 90% screen to body ratio with pretty minimal bezels, which are symmetrical all the way around. So that's nice. And a whopping 510 pixels per inch of pixel density, because of that nice resolution, covered with a Corner Gorilla Glass Victus 2. And also, on top of that, the device does have a pre-applied screen protector, which you can kind of see a little ring around here, around the camera. So that's the plastic screen protector. It is plastic, but it's still better than nothing. And that's basically everything for the display. Now, for people that don't know what I was just talking about in the case of the display, it's a very good display. It has everything that we expect: great resolutions, great screen type, being the AMOLED one. Refresh rate is fantastic, certifications are fantastic, brightness is amazing, and screen to body ratio also, though this isn't really a screen, this is just how much screen there is at the front compared to the actual bezels of it. But in any case, this is basically one of the top kind of things you can get in terms of quality at the front right here. So now let's move on to the back, which we have our cameras. So we have a quadruple camera setup right here, and holy shit, this is some serious setup right here. Oh wow! So we have 200 megapixel f1.5 23mm wide lens with optical image stabilization, 200 megapixel is another one, f2.2 70mm periscope telephoto, 50 megapixel f3.5 230mm periscope telephoto, so that's the second one, just at 50 instead of 200, and another 50 megapixel 2.0 14mm ultra wide. Wow, that is a setup of cameras right here. It's like a freaking final boss of phone cameras. Now another great thing in here is the fact that we do have a little camera button similar to how iPhones have it. So let's see what we get while using the camera. Sure, allow. Can you just like stop and let me use the goddamn camera? There we go. So it's also a touch sensitive surface. I'm testing it out because some phones actually have something similar like this. but it's just a button. Here we have so it seems like there's no let's say like two-phase kind of press. So yeah, the moment it activates is the moment it actually clicks to take a photo. So there's no like half press for you to, I don't know, maybe try to catch a focus on the camera. So it's a little bit of a shame right here, but this is more of a software kind of thing. It could be potentially changed. It is pressure sensitive, so it knows how much you actually are pressing down on it, and this is something that could potentially be added, or maybe it's in the settings. I haven't tested it out far enough to actually know. So pretty quickly, I'm just kind of curious. If we start like zooming in to the absolute max, oh wow, that is a freaking macro. What the hell? Now also, stabilization on here is pretty good. So you can see when I'm pointing it at it, it's not really moving, unless that's kind of weird. You can see the little line sometimes kind of glitching right here, like it's wobbling. Now obviously there's a lot of AI bullshit happening. I mean, it's literally even on the backs. You know, you probably threw up a little bit in your mouth when you saw OPPO AI phone. So yeah, but it's to be expected now. Literally every phone uses AI to upscale photos like this. Right now I can see this is fake as fuck. Just saying it as it is. For a phone at this price, certain things where it, because it doesn't have enough kind of data for it, like for some reason this is glitching. Could be my heart rate, but you can still wait. Let me actually capture a photo and take a look at this. Sure, agree, okay, piss off. So yeah, you can clearly see this is AI. This is way too smooth. You can clearly kind of see it right in these areas. There is weirdness happening to it that shouldn't be happening. And actually, let's see, we should have macro on here, so I want to see how close I can get to this. Let me just get the light in there so I can see more. Huh? Okay, that's kind of odd. Can you like stick to this? Nope. Okay, so changes. Okay, so there we go. Now we get a same kind of comparison. So let me zoom in. This is how it looks like normally, how the actual surface looks like. So it is bumpy. The white stuff that you see right here is actually just a light reflecting off of the uneven surface. Now, let's compare it to this one. Does this look anywhere near the same? There is literally no quality in this. This is smooth. Again, looking at this, you can see the bumpy surface right here. Here, you get to see nothing of that. So yeah, the amount of like bullshitty AI happening right here is, in my opinion, taking away from the actual capability of the camera itself, as once you surpass specific zoom, it is just done like, ooh, let's throw AI at it. Obviously, it solves every problem, like you probably being jobless at this point. Anyway, so camera right here, on paper they're freaking fantastic, but software side, I just hate where you have a phone that has great hardware and then completely takes a steaming pile of shit over it just to add AI. So, you know, investors can stroke themselves because, ooh, yeah, there's AI. That's my jam. Yeah, let's make a record-breaking profit, hopefully. So I genuinely despise this garbage. But this is just potentially my own opinion, but to be fair, if public perception is to go anything by, a lot of people hate AI. And only the YouTubers that have benefit of telling you that it's great, they will be telling you this. Now, let me quickly fix my camera because apparently nothing here can work properly, and my screen just decided to dip out on me. Okay, now hopefully everything is still working just fine. There is a delay, so when I do point my finger, I'm going to probably say now, and well, that was a little bit of a delay there, but hopefully this won't break the video. Again, great kind of environment here. Anyway, let's continue on. So probably, as you can already gather, I am approaching this as a typical normal person. I'm not approaching this as a, ooh, yeah, I'm a YouTube reviewer that got this phone for free from a company, and I need to be nice to it because OPPO won't send me the next phone. I couldn't give two shits less about this. So I'm going to be saying everything that is on my mind, and one of the things that is on my mind when it comes down to this device is the obnoxious price. This device costs over $2,000, including tax. It is absolutely insane of a price tag for a phone. And I literally just was shitting on Xiaomi Late's phone, which costed, well, a little bit, actually more than that. But what are we offering here for the $2,000? What, just cameras? Here's a moronic kind of thing, because we're kind of losing the ball right here when it comes down to phones and cameras. Companies are trying to give you constantly better cameras, so they add more, and the phones are getting thicker and thicker. Like this, I can literally hold the phone by this. So you get a great phone. I'm not going to take away from that. It's a fantastic device in terms of specifications, and you get cameras. Now, cameras aren't that great when you compare it to actual dedicated, cameras, for instance, mirrorless ones. And the price right here of this device is so high that you can start looking at mirrorless cameras and consider them a valid alternative to have a phone that still takes great photos and an actual dedicated mirrorless camera. And just to put that out there, you can get something like, for instance, if we're already looking at Chinese phones, we might as well be looking at the one of the best ones for value for money, which would be the, F8 Ultra, I think it was. So so you have Xiaomi POCO F8 Ultra. It's coming with the same processor and a lot of decent specifications as well. It has triple 50 megapixel sensors, also does 4K 80 and 8K 30, that's what I meant to say, and 4K 60. And hey, guess what? It costs $800. And on top of that, you could get yourself for instance, something like Sony ZV-E10 Mark II for another $1,000. And hey, you still got $200 left because this costs $2,000. We just spent $1,800. So you can maybe take that $200 extra and get yourself a second lens for your mirrorless camera. Just an idea. So like I said, I think we just kind of lost the point of phones, as you get to spend moronic amounts of money for a device that doesn't do the job as well as actual cameras. And to put that also, to give you kind of some context, I think Vivo was one of the companies that was advertising their Vivo X300 Pro, I think it was, with photos that shot on Vivo. And they weren't shot on Vivo. They were shot on a mirrorless camera. So yeah, great. You supposedly are trying to sell the fantastic phone for photos, and it has such a great camera stack, but then you shoot it on a mirrorless camera. For what reason? This gives me the same kind of vibes, though it decided to throw a little bit more camera hardware at it. But it still doesn't solve the problem that phones nowadays use too much AI, and it's just kind of icky to me. So if I would be picking a phone for, or looking for a device in general, and I'm interested in taking photos, I'm going to spend less money on a phone and more money on an actual camera, rather than get a camera phone with bullshit Android and other things, and also tuning to the camera for AI purposes and stuff like that. I'd be deliberately looking for something that doesn't use AI, so whatever I capture on that photo is captured by me, not reimagined by AI. But hey, you might not care. And for point and click photo, it's going to do the job. It's going to do a pretty good job. But if you actually want to have control over what you take, how you take it, and how it looks like, and not have it be edited without your even knowledge, maybe look at a mirrorless camera. In any case, let's continue on to the internals. So the device comes with a 7050 mAh battery, 100 watts of wired charging, and 50 wireless charging, which is pretty damn good. Now, I do want to point out this device is a little bit on a chunkier side, as you can clearly see. So 7000 mAh battery seems fantastic, but for this size of a phone, I actually would have expected it to be a little bit bigger, as there are phones that do have a bigger battery than this. So, I think one of them is actually the ZTE, if I remember correctly. Let's quickly check. So, Red Magic, let's see, this one maybe? Or wait, Z70. See both of them. So, okay, 7050, same thing, 660, and okay, so actually, this seems to be one of the biggest batteries on the market. So 7050 seems to be about how far they get. I'm pretty sure there was a bigger one, but you know, it's still close enough, so I'm not gonna harp on that one. So over 7000 milliamps. Another thing, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, so the best kind of Snapdragon you can get in the device. So that's pretty good. And we have 12 gigabytes of RAM on the cheaper end, by the way, as there is a more expensive one. So 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. Now at a $2,000 price tag, this is absolute bullshit. Go screw yourself. There is no reason why this phone should be coming with 256 at this price range. It should automatically be starting at half a terabyte. So in my opinion, this is already kind of a little bit unacceptable. And if you compare it, this phone price is actually more expensive than something like the Samsung Galaxy Folds, as they cost about $1,800, and these phones come with 16 gigs of RAM, if I remember correctly, and definitely half a terabyte of storage. What are we doing here? Why is there less storage? What was the price too low? But in other cases, you can spec it out all the way to 1 terabyte of storage and 16 gigabytes of RAM, all options using UFS 4.1 storage type. I think the better one is 4.2, so it's not even using the newest one, which is also kind of icky for the price. So yeah, and keep in mind the 1 terabyte, 16 gigabytes of RAM, then it's going to be probably more expensive than $2,000. So yeah, wow, great world we're living in. Anyway, moving on to the build quality, we have obviously glass front being the Gorilla Victus 2, aluminum frame, and glass back or silicone polymer, which would be the eco leather that I have right here. So basically plastic back or glass. So this one is the more plasticky. It's imitating leather right here, but you can get it in glass finish. And I do have to say, I genuinely dig the look of this one. It looks pretty damn good at the back. That is a very fresh, nice looking, minimal, while still having some kind of intricate design look to it. So I definitely do vibe with that one. I would have also vibed even more if the phone for $2,000 came with a goddamn case. But apparently that was a little bit too much to ask. Other than that, on the frame right here, the aluminum one, we get our little pressure sensitive slider for cameras. You have the power button, volume rockers, under display fingerprint sensor. We have more antennas right here. We get the microphone for noise cancellation. We get another button, which I'm presuming it's going to be for some crappy AI. Snap key. Sure, got it. Let's see. Snap to Mindspace. What the f is this? Oh, so it basically works the same exact way as it does on iPhones. Okay. Anyway, more antennas right here on the sides. And then at the bottom we have our SIM tray, which is obviously just a SIM tray, no SD card support in here. And just to pull it out, there we go. As you can see, we have SIM and SIM. Dual SIM card support. We have more microphones, more antennas, charging ports, speakers, and that's about it. And lastly, one thing that I want to talk about in terms of the build quality, it's going to be the rating. So we have IP68, 69, dust tight, water resistant, high pressure water jets certified with immersible up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Which is what you would expect at this price range. Actually, that's what you would expect for a phone at half the price of this. So, at the end of the day, going back to this, it's a moronically expensive device. Like, let's not kid ourselves. This is insultingly expensive. In a world where people are struggling to find a job and everything, just living is more and more expensive, buying a phone that is supposed to do just normal tasks that every other device does for more than double the price is absolutely insane. Trying to charge people double the amount for a phone is insane. So I genuinely cannot imagine this device selling too well, but I could be just high as a kite and be, completely wrong here. But like I said, for people that are looking for a device for taking great photos, I think a normal camera will be a much better option. And then additionally a phone on top of that, which has very similar specifications in terms of like display, the performance and so on, charging speeds, battery lives and such things, and just has a little bit crappier camera. Like I was saying, the Poco one is a great example right here. It's a fantastic phone in its own right, coming at a lower price than this, much lower price than this, and still having pretty damn good cameras. Like, these are no joke cameras in that phone, and everything else, it still has that 8 Elite Gen 5 processors, 100 watts charging, 50 wireless, 12 to 16 gigabytes of RAM, 256 to half a terabyte of storage, UFS 4.1. So it mirrors a lot of the same specifications of this device, and just lowers down the insanity in cameras. And then you can, dedicate that saved money for an actual camera, which at that point you can later on add the different lenses to it and expand it even further and give it more versatility, while completely getting rid of AI upscaling and all that stuff that is being done to images nowadays on the phones. Well, if you want, you can always use that phone that you got. Maybe it has crappier photos or cameras, but it's still damn pretty good, and it still uses AI on there too, so it's still going to do the same thing. If you want to, get a quick little photo, you just whip out your phone, snap a photo, and you're good to go. And honestly, side by side, I'm pretty sure when you're looking at the photo, you won't be probably able to tell much of a difference. It's generally more of a preference at this point. And yeah, so That's where I'm coming from. Now, it could be potentially a brain dead take right here to some people, but this is just how I feel about devices, especially at this price. This phone at $2,000 didn't even come with a charger in a box, didn't come with a case in a box. There is not enough in here to justify this price, and just giving you moronic camera stock, with moronic in a good way, it still doesn't solve the problem that phones do AI upscaling, which takes away from that quality. And for some reason, this just breaks the idea of such a phone. So anyway, that's my wild take on this device. And if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.